Okay. Right. Let's tell everyone we're going live. And on Sega Driven. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Get me a controller. Right. Hello. If anybody's tuning in, please let me know. Please say something in the chat, please. Let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully the audio's okay. Hopefully the balance is alright once we get into the games. But yes, hello. I am Sonic Yoda from SegaDriven.com. I am here with the Radio Sega team as a part of Game Blast 23. And we are raising money for Special Effect. A whole host of streams going on all weekend. Yeah, as a part of Game Blast. Special Effect is an amazing charity. They make gaming accessible for people with disabilities, so that they can enjoy in the same way that able-bodied people can. And yeah, they're an incredible charity. They do amazing work. Please go and check them out if you haven't already. And yeah, if you can donate at any point during the stream, that would be amazing. I would love that you could contribute something to Special Effect, but please only donate if you can. Like, we are currently living in, a cost of living crisis at the moment, and I don't want anybody that's watching to feel obligated to donate. I only want you to donate if you can donate. So yeah, absolutely no obligation. Just do it if you can. It's not a problem at all. Like I say, it's tough times right now, and yeah, like I can't demand donations from people when money is so tight. Gothblin, thanks for coming in, buddy. But yeah, I will obviously thank everybody that donates during the stream. Hopefully I'll get a notification in the chat. I don't have any incentive set up during the stream. We're literally just going to go through as many of my Mega Drive games as possible. So ideally I'm going to be playing like a stage each and then just moving on to the next game. I just want to plow through as many games as possible. I've put together a big list of everything I own. This is every physical Mega Drive game I own. No bootlegs, no repros, no like multi-carts. It's all good. War Andy, cheers for coming in, buddy. But yeah, all good. So we're going to do this. We're going to start off with Afterburner 2, and yeah, we're going to play a bit each, and then we're just going to do it. So yeah, if you can donate, here's the links. I'm just going to slap them in the chat right now. So that is the team link for the Radio Sega guys, which I'm obviously a part of, and here is my personal link if you want to donate directly to me as a part of the overall incentive. Okay, let's do this. Right, Afterburner 2 for the Mega Drive. This is an interesting port. It's probably the better ones from this era. I still think it lacks a lot of speed because, well, as you can imagine, the Mega Drive don't do sprite scaling, so it's not the world's most, I don't know, accurate take on Afterburner. But it's a pretty decent go of it, to be honest. It's moving around a lot of sprites for the Mega Drive and doing a pretty convincing scaling job. This is my C64, so I can't play the Mega Drive version. Yeah, I mean, there are worse, right? Like, the one for me that I will often compare it to will be the Master System one, just because that's the only other one I'm really massively familiar with. And that one has a really jerky move-in horizon, whereas this has a nice smooth sort of move-in horizon line, which does help, with the authenticity. But yeah, it's a decent little port. It's not the worst out there by any means, but it's still not the most accurate version of this game out there. I mean, the first time it gets really good on a Sega system is probably 32X, but nobody owned a 32X, so yeah, a lot of people kind of missed that port, unfortunately. Oh, refueling. But yeah, it's good stuff. Like, it's not a bad way to play Afterburner 2, but it's not the best way to play it either. Like, it's doing what it can with the limitations of the system. Right, I've died. We're moving on to the next game. Not much else I can say about Afterburner 2, but yeah. Next game is Alien 3. Oh, yeah, now we're talking. Gotta remember to update the game chapters correctly. Right, Alien 3, this is a really interesting little game. So yeah, obviously based on the film of the same name, completely unlike it because for one thing, Ripley does not have a weapon during that film at any point, and there's only one alien, so the fact that we just killed two kind of betrays it somewhat. But yeah, we're going around the prison, freeing the prisoners that have been, you know, gooped up by the aliens. That was a bad play on my part, but it's all good, we've got plenty of energy. But yeah, I have a good time with this game. Ian, cheers for coming in, bud. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a good time. The thing with this one, and I have got a full review of this on my YouTube channel if you want to go and check it out, Sega Driven. I think the time limit kind of betrays it somewhat. I think completely removing that, or at least giving you a lot more time per stage, would make this an incredibly enjoyable thing. I know what they're trying to do with the time limit. You know, it's a horror, right? Like, they're trying to make it more intense. They're trying to make it, you know, a little bit more, you know, trying to get your anxiety up and make it feel like you have to move quickly. But yeah, once you get all the hostages in the stage, and that's how you beat it. The other thing that really betrays this game as well is the fact that it does not have any form of save system whatsoever. You don't even have passwords, and it's a big game, big game. So yeah, it's missing a lot. This game really benefits from being played in an emulator because you can use save states, you can actually make some progress, and you know, it's a little bit more comfortable. Having to do it all in one sitting, very difficult. Especially if you don't know where any of the hostages are, because the time limit is so tight that yeah, it becomes a real pain in the neck. You can use a hack to remove the timer on RetroArch. There you go, that's the way to play it. Right, two more. So I know there's one down there, but I've missed one somewhere else in the map. I think I need to go back up. So no, not that way. See, this is the problem with this, right? Like, if you don't know the maps inside out, getting every hostage in this time limit is just a real pain in the neck. Like, it's hard going. I'm hoping... Right, so I got the both here. Is there one more down here somewhere? Or am I back at the beginning? I'm back at the beginning. Okay. Mr. Drums, cheers for coming in, buddy. I cannot remember where this next one is. Right. Maybe there's just two over here on the left. He's hooning up and down those ladders. He? It's Ripley, mate. That's a woman. Oh, I've run out of bloody bullets. Flamethrower it is. Oh yeah, there's two over here. There we go. And there you go. That's the first stage. But yeah, it's basically this. Big maps, exploration, go and look for the prisoners, free them, and get out of there before the time runs out. Good little game, well worth playing, but definitely play it with some sort of way to remove the timer or have like a lot more time, because it will really improve the game. Alright, we're moving on to the next game. Alien Storm. A big fave. This is a cool little beat 'em up. Underappreciated as far as I'm concerned. Let's do it. Why does it think there's a second player? Controllers. Oh, it's because I've got the Menacer set up. Right, let's open that again. There we go. I was using the old Kega Fusion there to play Menacer stuff, so I have to have it in port 2. There we go. Right. We all good. Right. So yeah, this is a Sega beat 'em up. I think the Mega Drive version unfortunately loses a lot of humour of the arcade game. It's a funny little game. It's taken the mick out of like The Thing and Ghostbusters, Alien. You know, it's just having a great old time with the old genre stuff there. And it is a funny little game. There is still a bit of the humour in this, but it's not as overtly funny as it is the arcade one. But yeah, real fun little game. Again, doesn't really get like talked about in the same breath as things like Golden Axe or Streets of Rage, but I think it has its place. £669 raise, obligatory, nice. You love to see it. I didn't get any notification if you've made a donation, so please let me know if you do donate. I was hoping it would show something in the old chat there, but maybe I needed to do some actual setup prior to that with Tiltify and all that. But honestly, a huge thanks to anybody that donates during the stream. A reminder that this is all a part of Game Blast 23. I'm part of Team Radio Sega, and we're raising money for Special Effect. Link on the screen. I will dump it in the chat as well once I'm finished with this little stage here. So yeah, this is another thing that this game has, is these little shooting gallery bits, which are really fun, where you just absolutely wreck the joint looking for power-ups, but also trying to do the aliens as well. It's a great little game, this. I have so much fun with it, and yeah, it doesn't really get spoken about too much. Right. Yeah, just quickly putting in the old donation link in the chat again. And we will move on to our next game. Right. Alicia Dragoon. Here we go. Use the first link, was clearly a mistake for the Twitch integration. Ah, no worries, no worries. It's all good. It's all money. It's all going for the team. It's all going towards special effects. It's not a problem. Right. I want to love Alicia Dragoon. I used the second, but nothing came up. My bad. Ian, thank you very much for donating, buddy. Honestly, it means a huge amount. But yeah, sorry that I didn't set this up very well, so it didn't make donation visible on the screen or in the chat. That's my bad. Probably should have done something on Tiltify there. Read my donation message before you say that. Oh no. I'll have to check it. So this is a cool little action game. You have different coloured dragons that you can select that do different things, and you kill stuff with a big laser. Yeah, amazing soundtrack. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's a bit too much, and I haven't quite clicked with it yet. I would love for it to make more sense, and I would not be constantly in pain like I am at the moment. It's a bit like a bullet hell, like bullet hell platformer. It's kind of crazy. Cool game though. As first level goes, this is the doozy. Yeah, tell me about it. One day I will sit down with this proper and like figure out how to play it correctly. But yeah, I'm very much just sort of running, jumping, shooting, and hoping things happen correctly. But there's definitely more to it than that. Especially because, you know, you've got this button here that allows you to change your familiar. And I'm sure, you know, there's better familiars for certain situations. But yeah, cool little game, Alicia Dragoon. What a console the Mega Drive is, man. So, if you don't know any of my history with retro gaming, the Mega Drive was my first ever games console. I got it for Christmas 1991. I was 4 years old. My uncle and a friend of the family's also had a Mega Drive around the time, and I used to play theirs whenever I visited. I was enamoured with the thing. My Mega Drive came with Mega Games 1 and Sonic 1. And, yeah, sort of intermittently got games for birthdays and things from then on. Obviously, being a child, did not appreciate how expensive games were back then. But most of my collection came more from, you know, the eBay days when I first started using it, building up a bit of a collection that way. You can still kind of do that to this day, but, you know, retro game prices have gone kind of crazy now, and as a result, I would not recommend trying to build up physical collections of things anymore. Get yourself a flash cart, load it up with ROMs, play games that way. No one's making any money out of these things anymore. There's a few first-party stuff that do get republished a little bit, like on Switch Online and stuff like that. But a lot of things that you'll see, a lot of the third-party stuff in this stream, it's just not available. So find a way to play it. Like, enjoy retro games. That's the important part of these things. But yeah, it is my childhood console. I love it dearly. Yeah. But how did you get introduced to Game Ground? Ah, the sketch sector. Cheers for coming in, buddy. How did I get introduced to Game Ground? I think the first time I played Game Ground was on... It's a fair point, to be honest with you. It may have been mucking around with MAME back in the day. Just trying as much Sega stuff that I hadn't played before. But yeah, I think that might have been the first time I played it. The first time I gave it any serious time would have probably been one of the compilations on PS2, maybe. I think it's on Sega Mega Drive Collection on PS2. Can't remember if it's on Sega Classics Collection, like the you know 2600. No, what are they called? 2500 remakes, you know. But yeah, so that would have come a little bit later. I didn't own it back in the day. But yeah, this is a good game, definitely, but I just don't know how to play it well. I would like to be able to play this better. Because I'm constantly taking damage. And I don't quite know what I should be doing to avoid that. Does she have a shield? I can't figure that out. And we're dead. There we go. That's about the experience I always get with Alicia Dragoon. One day I'll figure out how to play it correctly. Right, next game. Oh, while we do that as well, I'm going to quickly check what what the donation messages was from Ian. It's got to be done, right? It's got to be done. In fact, let's get the next game booted up. Oh dear. It's Altered Beast. Haha. Right. Let's have a look at this donation message. Rise from your grave. I had a friend that was obsessed with this, and I bought it on his recommendation, which was a bad time. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Altered Beast is fine, but it's not great. Let's put it that way. It's a bit strange that it gets re-released so frequently. So yeah. View campaign. Right, okay, what have we got in here? Top donor, Ian, 32X was bad, mate. It was, but I've still got one, man. Totally. Yeah, I agree. It is a very, very short game. And if you know how to play it well enough, like, it's a fun little time waster. I've got no real beef with it, to be honest with you. It's like, think about retro games, right? A lot of what people like about retro gaming is the iconography, and this is full of it, you know? Just the voice samples, the bosses, the powering up is just super iconic, turning into the beasts and things. Yeah. It's not a bad time by any stretch of the imagination. Let's get beefy. Now I can just fucking one-shot these lads. I really have no real problems with this game. It's a silly little time waster, and it's fairly like iconic as Sega games go, you know. Welcome to your doom indeed. Right, let's pump this guy full of projectiles. This is a pretty metal boss, right? Rotting pile of flesh, chucking heads. It's pretty rad, right? Charles Atlas in your way through a pile of wolves, gargoyles and zombies. What's not to love? Fair point, fair point. Yeah, he does have... He is taking his face off, isn't it? Like, you can see it for a frame there during the animation. There you go, first stage, over and done with. Nicely done. Now a dude will laugh at us. You'll have to see it. Again, I mean, I could play a little bit longer if you want to see another transformation, but we'll just do that and then we'll move on. There's not much else to see. It's this, you know. It's pretty cool that, you know, you get a different beast per stage. There's a little bit of variety in that. And they do have different abilities, attacks and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty early beat 'em up fodder for the old Mega Drive here. I've got to say, those voice samples do hold up pretty well actually on the old system. There's some crunchy voices on this system, and that isn't one of them. So fair play. Oh, it's a chicken leg from Golden Axe. Give it a boot. Here we go. Second transformation. Not as cool looking as the first. Not as many frames of animation on the old face there. So we can sort of electrocute them like this and send a projectile out. But yeah, that gives you everything you need to see really. Oh, we're near the next boss. We might as well do him in. Why not? Nice and easy this one. Get close to him and just do that.
Welcome to your doom.
I think not, mate. Done. Piece of piss. Right, next game. Next game. It's another world, mate. Oh. Out of this world. It's another world, mate. Straight in. Let's go for it. Oh, God, I got out of there quick, didn't I? Alright. Let's run, let's run, let's run. Kick the... Oh, crap. Not good. I've been playing Delphine games on the Amiga lately. Didn't know they did quite so many point and clicks. Ah. Up we go. Climb out of there. There we go. A bit more of the smoother animation there for you. Alright. I need to be a little bit more careful with these worms. Oh, cock! I think if you double tap you run on this one, and that's what's doing it for me. I'm kind of easing forward and it's not like, yeah. Right, we'll at least get to the bit where you're in the cage and stuff, like, and then we'll move on. Oh no. Oh, holding A and moving is also run. That's what's causing that problem. Sorry lads, I will sort this out eventually. God, it's been a while since I played this. The last time I played it to completion is I've got the 15th anniversary version on PC, which is all, you know, HD. Great version. Real good version of the game. And I think it's got save feature as well. I think this has a password system at least, but... yeah. If you want some weird trivia with this, oh, and we're running back the other way. Leap! Cock! That was always going to be a problem, wasn't it? Ah, back to the start. Come on! I've got to do this at least. What's leaping? Oh, there's leaping. Right, okay. Leap! Leap! Leap again! There we go, that's the way. Bloody kicking him. Leap! Leap! Leaping again. Ah, he's fallen. And onto the thing. That should break and swing us to the other side. And away we go again. Leap. Leap, leap. Oh. And then... hey! Oh, who's this shadowy figure? Say hello. These animations, man. Still great. All rotoscoped. Lovely smooth animation in this. If you didn't know, all of this is achieved with like flat polygons. That's how they achieve the animation on this. So they're manipulating polygons themselves, but in a flat space instead of a 3D space. Which is a really unique way of doing things. The 15th anniversary version has like all these really cool videos that show you like the original source video he recorded to then animate over. Really good stuff. Come on, we'll crush this boy and then we'll move on. So yeah, we're swinging the cage here. Someone will see us eventually. Stop doing that. It looks like we're missing voice samples that other versions have. Because he didn't say Mike Aruba. Oh wait, no. There it is. And then we pick up the gun. Rotoscope little animation. Lovely stuff. Alright, cool. Let's move on. Oh dear. If anyone likes this sort of thing, Full Void on Steam is a very another world flashback. Oh, I'll look into it, buddy. That sounds pretty cool. Right, it's the Aquatic Games starring James Bond and the Aquabats. Okay. Alright, I'm trying to remember what buttons you have to press for this. B and A? B and A. Come on! Oh, we're not winning this, are we? Knackered it. Too slow. So, I'll tell you the reason why I own this, right? The first issue of Mean Machine Sega... Oh, paused it. Came with a VHS. And it was all, like, footage of upcoming games and stuff. And this was on it. And I was always enamoured by it. Christ, did he beat me again? He did. Bloody hell, really got to mash this, haven't you? Come on, I at least want to try and get to the ball game. Let's go! Come on! Need a bloody turbo joypad for this. We ain't doing this, are we? Bloody frog. Right, enough of this bollocks. It's a track and field alike, you get it. Bit of California games as well, it's all different events and stuff. I'm wondering if we can try a different bloody game. Oh, it does let you move things around, right, okay. Piranha Practice. Yeah, so this is the other one I was trying to get to. You got to protect the seals with the balls. From the balls, sorry. Because if they hit them too many times, they wake up and clear off. But as you can see, the qualifying time is 4 whole minutes of this bollocks. It's ridiculous. Why would you want to sit here and play it for 4 whole bloody minutes? A minute maybe, come on. But yeah, it's a bit much. Anyway, enough of this bollocks. Let's move on. Arrow Flash. It's shmup time. Just sticking the donation link in here again if anybody wants to donate to Game Last 23, all in aid of her special effects. It'd be lovely if you can, but only donate if you can donate. Please do not feel obligated to donate because you're watching a Game Blast stream. We're in a cost of living crisis at the moment. Let's just, you know, keep it. Do what you can if you can, but I'm not expecting everybody watching. Right, Arrow Flash. You have a little transforming mech thing. You got power-ups. It's a shmup. It's not a bad one. Lots of layers of parallax there. You love to see it. The one thing I'll say of this game is sound is a bit of an issue. It's pretty abrasive, isn't it? All the special effects and the sort of guitar noises and the music. It's a little bit much. It's a little bit much. I think that's the one thing that's kind of dragging Arrow Flash down. But I do have time for it. It's a decent enough little game. And if you transform into the mech mode, it locks the options in place. So if you want less movement in your option, you can do it that way. So yeah, it's pretty basic. That AF gauge is a special attack, which you can activate with C. Allows you to boost around and it makes you invincible for a little while. Yeah. There's a fair bit to it. But it's very simplistic as shooters go on the old Mega Drive. There's a lot better. But this is a fine enough little time waster. Or at least try and see a boss or something, or a stage transition, and then we'll move on. But yeah, I don't mind it at all. Bizarrely, I played most of this on one of those Act Games handheld Mega Drives. Used to play it quite a lot on that. I think that was kind of my first introduction to playing it. But yeah, honestly not a bad time. Apologies if you can hear me absolutely mashing the fire button, but there isn't a rapid. There might have been in the options. I should have probably checked. Oh good, we're out of danger. That's nice. Bit of a quick game, isn't it? Oh yeah, you got this sequence where like a big ship crashes and the clouds part or something like that. There you go. Pretty neat little effect. And then you transition to the next part of the stage. Alarm for when you aren't in danger. We had attacked again though. They didn't bloody warn us when we were back in danger though, did they? Bastards. But yeah, you get the idea. It's a bloody shoot 'em up. Not a lot going on. Outside of blasting little guys. Right, we're moving on. We're moving on. Oh my god. What are we drawing, lads? Alright, let's try and draw Sonic, I guess. Oh Christ. Do 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 do. Oh god. It's very Etch-a-Sketch. I'm sorry that you can't hear much of the song while I'm doing this, because it is an absolute banger of a tune. It's the theme song of drawing, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm trying my best, lads. Speed run. Ah, dear. Terrible. Yeah, there's some fingers. You get the idea. There's your Sonic. Where's the bloody menu? How do I get the menu up? There it is. There's the stamps. There's a bit of Sonic for you. Got Toe Jam. He's in there and all. There's an Earl. What else we got? There's their ship, birthday cakes, presents. Really pushing the Toe Jam and Earl agenda on this one, aren't they? Bloody hell. I mean, I can try and colour him in, but the problem I'm thinking is that I don't think I've sealed up all the edges. Oh, that's not too bad. All right, okay, maybe. This is the excitement you came for, right? Oh, there's an open edge there. Right, no, we can't risk it. It'll fill the whole screen. Right, next game. It's Art of Life. Oh, hello. It's not developed for use outside of North America. Deary me. What does that mean? Oh right, it's European. Oh, hang on, we can do it in Japanese. Hang on, let's do it that way instead. Soft reset. Will that boot it into action? There we go. Produced under the supervision of Ayrton Senna. R.I.P. Big Man. Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2. One of my dad's absolute favourites. World Championship, I guess. Beginner. Sonic. Yoda. I am a filthy Englishman. Don't blame me. Oh, it's in Japanese though. Let's just race. Automatic transmission. Now, if I remember correctly, despite the fact that I've selected automatic transition, there's a problem with this in that, like, if you press down by accident on the old D-pad, you can shift down, and you lose a load of speed as a result. Thankfully, I'm not quite hearing it at the moment. Maybe I'm thinking of the first game and not the sequel. But I remember that shifting down issue being such a huge problem. You lost so much speed because of it, and you just accidentally touch the down as you're cornering, which you do a lot when you're playing video games, believe it or not. Yeah, it causes a bit of a weird shift down. Yeah, I don't think it... I'm pressing down at the moment and it's not really doing it, so... Oh, I'm not going to set a good qualifying time here, am I? I'm starting from... What position are we? 16th at the moment. Coming to the end of the lap. Okay, I'm starting from 16th. Which, I bet you, is right at the back of the grid. Hey, there I am. Alright, off we go. But yeah, it's a racing game. It's not a bad one, all things considered. The rear view mirror is a nice touch for a game of this vintage, you know. It's got a nice big background, although the action is fairly limited to the bottom of the screen there. But that is the case with a lot of Mega Drive racing games, as you'll see. But yeah, not a bad game by any means. Presentation's lovely. I think that's the big thing to take away from the Super Monaco GP games, is they absolutely nail the look of, you know, F1 racing around this era. Presentation's gorgeous. But yeah, you get the idea. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Oh God. It's an accolade. It's balls. Right, I used to play this a lot. To my... Oh dear. Right, come on, let's just get on with it. What a theme song, eh? Kronk! It's going to be Kronk. I am Kronk Blatz on Twitter. Just smack him, mate. It's a 3D fighter on the Mega Drive. Look at this. Look at that. It's pretty impressive, right? Smack him. But it is a button basher. There is no skill to this whatsoever. And there is a certain point where you fight an ostrich that can just regen its health. And then it's no fun. It completely loses all interest at that point. But it is very much trying to be the fighter that's so random, right? Yeah. I want the job right in the background commentary. Taunt the ostrich! Shattered. Bruiser round 2. Yeah, look at the tech. You love to see it, right? Smack him. Just keep smacking him. Don't give him any room to do anything. That's the tech. Kiss the canvas! There you go. Oh, you get an instant replay and everything. Look at this. Pretty impressive little job for the Mega Drive to be doing, right? A full replay. Alright, got turbo now. You get the idea. It's a complete button basher. There's not a lot of skill involved in this. But I think it's doing some pretty impressive stuff, considering the system does not do sprite scaling. You know, we've got 3D movement, and it's pretty convincing. Anyway, we're moving on. Right, it's Batman time. Here's a banger. Based on the Tim Burton movie. It's a Sunsoft game, so you know you're in for a good time. There's something about this game that really reminds me of Castlevania. I know it's more of a action game, it's more beat 'em uppy, but just the design of the stages, the sort of deliberateness of it, the speed of it, it's got a real Castlevania vibe for me. And as a result, kind of love it. Oh, I'm sure that rain effect is doing wonders for the old bitrate there. It'll go away soon enough. But yeah, this is a good little time, this game. Batman's Belmont stride. Yeah, totally, he has the Belmont stride for sure. For sure. Just a reminder, this stream is in benefit of Game Blast 23, raising money for special effects. Link on the screen if you want to donate, but please donate only if you can. Don't feel obligated to donate. It's hard, you know, hard times at the moment, cost of living crisis and all that. But yeah, you'll be raising money for special effects if you do donate, and they're an amazing charity that make sort of accessibility devices for people with disabilities so that they can play games the same way as able-bodied people. It's a really good cause. Check them out if you've never seen what they do before. Yeah, can't recommend them enough. Great work. Oh no, I've run out of batarangs. Now we've got to do it with just punching. Come on, we're nearly there. There we go, done him in. Good game, good game. There's not many bad Batman games from this era, I've got to say. Sunsoft definitely leading the way with a lot of them. The NES one in particular is great. Game Boy one's a good fun time as well. But yeah, Mega Drive 1 also very good. Would recommend if you've never played it. It's got a nice sort of, like I say, deliberateness to it that reminds me of Castlevania. I'm trying to remember. There we go. Oh, yeah, you can do a forward roll, that's it. That's it. That gives you a little bit more forward momentum. There we go, like that. Cool, we're moving on. You get the idea. Battle Squadron. Right, I can tell you exactly why I bought this game. I was desperately trying to get as many Amiga games that are available on the Mega Drive. And this is one of them. It is a top-down shooter. And it's fine. Oh, use a bomb straight away there. Always the way. The title theme, especially on the Amiga, is an absolute rager of a tune. Really good track. Doesn't sound as good on Mega Drive, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a shooter. I'd say the biggest problem with this game is its overuse of green and purple. It's a pretty ugly looking game. Oh, I missed that power up. Never mind. It's got a cool little setup. Basically, the stage runs concurrently with an underground stage, and at some point you will find an entrance to the underground stage, which you can enter at any given point. So yeah, there's a little bit of variety to it in that you can always move between this upper and lower section. It's kind of fun. No, cocked it again. Well, that was a quick game. Number of lives, 5. Max enemy bullets, less. Enemy bullet speed, less. There we go. Make it a little bit easier. Let's try that again. Ah, here you go. I can dodge those bullets. It's pretty cool that it's got like options like that in a shooter. You can really tweak it however the hell you want to play it. But yeah, it's a pretty bog basic vertical shooter. Certainly not one of the Mega Drive's best. But like I say, I bought this because of the Amiga connection. I was desperately trying to get as many Amiga games as possible. Come on, let's have a power up at least. There we go. Bit of backwards and forwards fire in there. So there is a bit more to it, you know. It'd be nice if I could show you the, you know, the caves where you can enter the bottom section, but we've got to keep things moving. I think we've got to keep things moving. A lot of games to get through. We ain't going to get through all of them. I've got a couple of hours aligned for this stream. Aligned, set up, booked, whatever. But yeah, we ain't going to get through everything. So let's move on. Right. Here's a good shmup. Here's a bloody good one. It's Biohazard Battle. Oh, we got to switch back. Country, USA. Soft reset. There we go. Here's a game. Practice. Loads of lives. There we go. This guy. This has an atmosphere, this bloody game. It's super creepy and kind of weird. Everything's got this sort of like biomechanical look to it. It's sort of like fish-looking things. Oh, we do have a rapid on this one. Yeah, like squids and stuff. Very cool game. Very cool game. But yeah, like I say, there's a lot of atmosphere to this one. Oh, that's the one you want. That's the one you want. Yeah, tough shooter, but like very rewarding. A lot of variety to it, and just a really unique look and premise. Certainly ain't many shooters that look like this, you know. You will see a little bit more of a very, you know, background as we progress through the stage as well. It's not just sky and no detail. We do sort of go down into a cityscape at some point. We've got bugs now to go with fish. Ah! But yeah, this is a real cool little game. This was one of those ones where I'm just like looking for as many Mega Drive shmups to play as possible, and people kept recommending it, so I grabbed myself a copy. I think mine's unboxed, but I only want to play these things. I don't give a crap if it's boxed or not. Don't be precious about boxes. If the game works, go for it. Yeah, there you go. A little bit more of a varied background now, you know. It is a very strange looking shooter, but it, you know, it works in its benefit. It makes it very unique and interesting to look at. Would recommend. Still can't quite get to grips with the constantly inverted movement of the option there. It's a hard thing to manipulate, but it does really help with the old firepower. Right, let's move on. You get the idea. Oh dear. Oh dear. We've got to play Bubsy now, haven't we? I'm just going to quickly pop the old donation link back in the chat again if anybody wants to donate to Special Effect as part of the stream. There's a little reminder for you. But again, only donate if you can. Not going to pressure people in a cost of living crisis. What could possibly go wrong, mate? This game. Oh, this game is a tough old time. What you're not really seeing is these enemies are constantly sort of like blowing, and it's, as you can see, I'm not actually pressing anything there. It's kind of moving you. Yeah, you saw him briefly, so below me there. Yeah, it just makes the feel of this horrendous. Yeah. The big problem I have with this game as well is one-hit kills. Everything is a real danger to Bubsy in this game. So you've got to make sure you're jumping at every available opportunity, so you're actually jumping on enemies. Otherwise, yeah, you will have a bad time. Also, he has fall damage, so if you fall very far, you are out of luck, and that's a death as well. You can't really barrel along quick in this game, and you're not really seeing it at the moment because I'm trying to be careful. I always thought that flipping effect was quite interesting, quite cool for the Mega Drive. But yeah, it's not a great platformer. It needs to use the yarn balls like rings so that like you can take a hit if you've got yarn. Otherwise, it's just a frustrating time. You've really got to be careful and not just barrel along at speed like you really want to, because they've given you this character that can absolutely leg it. Oh, there we go. I think we've done the first stage. It's Bubsy. It's not a great platformer, but it's one of those things that you do get used to the more you play it. It's a strange one. It's a strange one. But yeah, it's got problems. Bubsy's always had problems, but yeah. Burning Force. Right. This is a cool game. It's kind of a Space Harrier clone. Except you can't really move around freely, you know, you can't fly upwards. You are locked to the ground, essentially. But yeah. Kind of cool attempt at scaling. Like I say, definitely trying to ape Space Harrier. I think by locking you to the bottom there, there's less obstruction to what's like firing at you and coming towards you, which I kind of like. Because that's the issue with things like Afterburner and Space Harrier. As you're moving around in the centre of the screen, things are, you know, behind you and you can't really see them coming towards you, so you often get blindsided by enemy fire and things like that. So locking you to the bottom here and having things sort of appear on the horizon thing just makes it a lot easier to deal with. But yeah, you're getting this. It's a shooter, right? They're all pretty repetitive. But you can certainly do worse. You could certainly do worse. I think one of the other things as well that lets this game down for me is that, like, water surface scrolling effect. A little bit harsh on the eyes, isn't it? I think they could have chosen a better look for the water there. Oh, I've been exploded. Thankfully, another bike randomly appeared. Let's try and get these guys bombed. Here we go. Area 2 cleared. Right, yeah, you get the idea. We'll move on. We'll move on. Right. California games. God. I feel like this is one of those games that if you own a Mega Drive, you can't avoid owning it. Hello, Animated AF. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, we're doing good. We're into the seas now. Yeah. Obviously raising money as a part of special effect. I should probably quickly just check and see if anybody else has made a donation. Just in case there's something worth reading out, because they're not coming up on screen or in the chat when it happens. As I have clearly not set that up correctly on Tiltify. That's my bad. But thank you everyone that can donate. It's hugely appreciated. But I'm just going to quickly make sure I haven't had any other donations since. Oh, hello. Yeah, cool stuff. It's mainly just it's just Ian at the moment, so that's lovely. But again, thank you very much, Ian, for donating. That's really kind. I'm just gonna keep that open on my phone, just in case I need to go back and reference it again, see if anybody else has made a donation. Right, let's compete in one event. Yeah, Master System version is pretty decent, isn't it? Let's do the BMX. God. Here we go. That's jump, and I've fallen off already. This is the experience of playing California games. If I can build up some speed, I might be able to do some tricks. Who knows, eh? Who knows? Oh, it's C I need to be pressing, not A. 3 crashes, end of event. Right, let's try that again. I would like to show you some cool flips. Let's do it. There we go. Right, I'm trying to remember what you have to press. Oh, there we go. You'll love to see it. 360s and backflips and shit. Hey! Pro gaming. There we go. I'm back into my groove now. I can remember how to play. Oh, there we go. I've fallen off. Never mind. Ah, yeah. California games. It's one of these. Multiple little sports. They're all sort of mini games. Play the best you can. Surfing. I like how this version is signed Echo SFX though. Oh, interesting. Alright, I'm trying to remember. That's a nice sprite, that. I do like that animation. How do I go quicker? How do I go quicker? Oh, Christ. Press a button to start. Right. C? I'm trying to... How do you do it? Oh, hello. Evening, Lewis. How's it going? Can't stay long. Thought I'd pop in to say hi. KC, thank you very much for joining us, buddy. Don't mind that you can't stay long. It's all good. We're going fine. We're going fine. We're into the seas now. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get through everything because I've got 200 odd games. But we're just playing a little bit of each and just having a nice time and telling you a little bit about what I think of each. Yeah, it's California games. There we go. Over the wave he goes. Right, enough of that. It's everybody knows what California Games is like. Right, let's play some bangers. War has never been so much fun. Right, let's go for it. Cannon fodder. It's another Amiga classic. Good port. Obviously it doesn't have the sampled speech of the song, which is a bit of a disappointment. But otherwise, it's the Amiga game. You're just using a D-pad instead of a mouse. And honestly, it's not that bad. Oh, accidentally gone into load screen, don't need that. Right, let's have a look. There's a lad over there, get him done. So we're basically looking for the enemy soldiers, clearing them out, making sure they don't shoot us. It gets a little bit more complex as we find their sort of like bases, because you have to blow them up with grenades, which hopefully we'll soon see. But yeah, it's a Euro classic as far as I'm concerned. Sensible software, mate. Great developer. Absolute bangers when they were firing on all cylinders. They have made some all-timers. Had an interesting chat with John Hare the other day on the podcast coming soon. Amazing. Love John Hare. Met him at Play Expo a few years back. Got a lot of time for that man. Here we go. Mission 2, Phase 2. I see you down there. We haven't found a hut yet. Yeah, you see him bleeding out there. I forget that's a thing. Get him done. Let's cross the river. Get that lad shot. Yeah, this is a great game. Really good game. You might decry the lack of music, but I think it gives it an atmosphere. Come on. Oh, I'm shooting at trees. And not men. Right, there we go. Across the river we go. I'm pretty sure there's a hut down here that we need to blow up. Oh, there's another guy that was bleeding out. Put him out of his misery. Oh, there's a lot of lads down here. Right, okay. So, I'm trying to remember how you do this now. Go back that way. Is it that and C? Do I need to... I think I need to collect the grenades first. There's a box of them behind here. There we go. Right, okay. Let's get some distance. There we go. There's another guy bleeding out. There we go. Done it. I remember the skidoo being great fun and absolute liability. Anyway, that's Cannon Fodder. Highly recommended. Great little game. Right, Captain Havoc. Let's do it. High Seas Havoc. Right, yeah, this is a cool little platformer, very Sonic-like, but with melee attacking. Very colourful. Got a lot of time for this game. Speed is a little bit more manageable than Sonic. You don't go absolutely belting quick. I'm trying to remember. There's a deal with the first stage, and I'm not entirely sure if this is it or not. But I think the PAL version is missing a stage, and I think this is the missing stage. This is the American version without the first stage out. Okie dokie. Yeah. I can never quite remember what the deal is with that. But yeah. You can see Sonic is clearly a huge inspiration on this. But, you know, a little bit more manageable speed. Look, you've even got springs. You've got a health gauge though, so the collecting items thing is a little bit more just for the getting high scores essentially. Don't think I knew about that. Interesting. Yeah, there's an exclusive stage in one of these versions. It's region exclusive. I think it's this one. I think it is that stage because it's a little bit too close to just being a green hill zone, right? I think most of the ports start from, well, at least the PAL version I think starts from this pirate level. Game. There we go. But yeah, it's a cool little platformer. Nothing wrong with this. Whilst obviously being very influenced by Sonic, I think it's doing enough of its own thing to warrant its existence. I think it's a very pretty game. I think it's got a decent soundtrack. Oh, I've been entombed in a barrel. I can't remember if this is the stage with the first boss or not. We'll try and get to the end of this stage and then we'll move on. The boat looks like it was generated by an AI. Yeah, it's strange setup for the boat, isn't it? And we're dead. Right, let's move on. You get the idea. It's a platformer. It's a decent one as things go. Right, speaking of decent platformers, yeah, one of my absolute favourites. That's right, it's Castle of Illusion. You can't go wrong with Castle of Illusion. This is a banger. Let's do it. So this was actually one of the first Mega Drive games I ever saw. Before I owned my own, my uncle had it, and there is a section of this stage in particular that I will show you that used to terrify young 3-4-year-old Lewis. Which you'll be like, Lewis, what's wrong with you, man? It's a Disney game. Why did the Disney game scare you? Well, you know, think about like visually and how like happy this sounds, right? There'll be a bit of a tonal shift later on that I'll try and point out, and then you'll realise why I was scared of it. Because this is all, you know, nice mid-paced platformer, very easy to control. It's not too quick, not too much going on. You can react to everything in time. But yeah, during this section, there's a little bit of a shift in the tone of the game, and it used to scare the crap out of me. Was not a fan. It's coming up. You'll see it in a moment. Let's get that extra life. There we go. Extra try, sorry. Here it comes. Yeah. Was not a fan of that. Did not like that. That rolling noise was like, nah, too abrasive. Not into it. No. It used to scare the crap out of me. I find stuff like that really interesting to look back on. Like, oh, what was it about that really just sort of like didn't vibe with me, you know? It's really interesting to go back to and think about. There's lots of things like that from my youth, which I'm just like, oh god, that used to scare me. I wonder why it did. and I've been back to since and just been like, oh yeah, that is kind of scary. Right, we'll play to the first boss, and then we'll move on to the next game. Because the boss theme in Castle Illusion is quite good. Oh, we got the spooky woods first. That apple does shoot at you super suddenly. Yeah, I guess it's the sort of like really thundery rolling noise. I think also kind of didn't vibe with me as a kid. But yeah, I've completed this so many times now. It's a big time fave for on the Mega Drive. Like a great platformer, really well made. Just lots of creativity, lots of variety. Great soundtrack, great use of the license, you know. Very little to complain about when it comes to Castle Illusion. See, this with the dark clouds is what I was expecting you to say you didn't like. I mean, like, I'd already ducked out of the room by the time this stage had come around, so remember that wigging you out. Yeah, I again, like, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You don't associate Mickey Mouse with spooky stuff. So I guess it just, yeah, didn't vibe me. Here we go, boss theme. Oh, what a banger. Possibly the most aggressive tree in video gaming history. Wispy Woods ain't got nothing on this guy. Look how evil he is. Yeah, it definitely, like, I wouldn't say it's horror stuff, but you know what I mean. Definitely has a bit of a darker edge to it in places. There we go. First Chaos Emerald. Alright, we're moving on. What's after Castle of Illusion, eh? It's the Chaos Engine. Soldiers of Fortune? God, bloody Twitch. It's not the name of the game. Sure. That lad and that lad. Let's go. Let's go and activate some nodes. Oh, there's some crunchy voice samples for you. There we go. That node has been activated. Another Amiga classic. This is a Bitmap Brothers game. This was definitely a purchase in amongst a lot of Amiga to Mega Drive ports that I was going for. I wanted the lot, that was the idea at one point. As many Amiga games on Mega Drive as possible. Because you got to remember as well, the prospect of playing Amiga games on the Mega Drive is a real good one because no loading. And I know, you know, there are some better alternatives for the Amiga now, what with WHD load, sorry. So you can install the things directly on the hard drive, so it doesn't have to load anymore. But I only have an Amiga 500 with a floppy disk drive, so everything loaded a lot. There we go, first stage. Good stuff. But yeah, it's the Chaos Engine. It's a cool little game. It's better in co-op. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with the Twitch titles. Yeah. I just like it to be chaptered correctly. Like, I did it for the PS1 pinball stream the other day, and it was really nice that, you know, just makes it all work correctly. Easy for people to go back and revisit and search around if you have specific games you want to have a look at. Right, let's move on, because you're not seeing much more than this at the moment. Right, okay. Cheeky Cheeky Boys. Mega Twins. That's not what it's called. There's the title, mate. Right. What should I call your warrior? You can call me that. Oh, I thought I did SY. Never mind. Oh, use the bomb straight away. You're going to see that a lot across this stream. What's the buttons? Use the bomb straight away. So here's a cool little game. Decent port on the old Mega Drive here. Lots of colour. Big sprites. But very much an arcade game. You know, it's got that... It's absolutely brutalising you difficulty to rinse you of money. Come on. Come on. There we go. It's down for the count. Didn't want to marry Lembit Opik. It's a cheeky cheeky girl, I'm afraid. In. Yeah, cool game this. Like, I haven't really given it the time it deserves. Mainly because it's an arcade game. It's got that real sapping your money difficulty to it, and as a result I find it tests my patience a little bit when you play it for a long amount of time, but I think I'd like to give it the time it deserves. Anyway, that's Cheeky Cheeky Boys. We're going to move on. It's columns. Hey! Right, I don't have this individually. I think I've got this as a part of Mega Games 1. We'll play a bit of columns, eh? It's fine. It's a puzzle game. The absolute bog basic puzzle game that you could hope for on the Mega Drive. I don't mind it. It's a decent enough little time waster. That's what puzzle games should be. I don't need something to be super intense all the time, you know? Sometimes you need a lack of challenge and a good time. And this certainly fits the bill when you need to just chill out. But yeah, matching 3 things doesn't have the depth of something like Puyo Puyo, but sometimes you don't want the depth of something like Puyo Puyo. You just want columns, and columns will do that job when needed. It's fine. We'll move on. Your sister's obsessed. You and your sister are obsessed with it as kids. You got to level 99. Blind, bloody hell. Fair play to you. Right, here's a weird one. It's combat cars. This has a banger of a soundtrack. Select your character. That'll do. Let's go. Oh, that's not accelerate. That is. There we go. Right, off we go. Right, so the thing I notice about combat cars that always bugs me about it. See how it says lap? Well, think about this track layout, right? At what point did that ever join up with the start? It doesn't double back on itself to go back down to the start. There's no lap there. This is like a forward sprint. It's a stupid thing to get hung up on, right? But like, that's not a lap, that's a split. It doesn't join up with the start of the track. But yeah, it's a top-down racer. It's fine. It very much plays into that Euro Racer sensibility where it's like you're earning money per race and then you use it to make your car better the next race and add weapons to it and stuff. Micro Machines is the better game, let's put it that way. By a country mile. For better handling, for better top speed. I can't afford any of this. Back to the game. Harbour Track 1. But yeah, it's a top-down racer. With weapons. So there's that going for it at least. But as with a lot of top-down racers, the action is too fast. You can't really react to corners quick enough. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating to play without having to sit down and learn all the tracks by memory to be able to react to things in time, because otherwise it's just, yeah, not enough reaction time, unfortunately, to be able to feasibly get around that corner without knowing that it's coming and how much braking I need to do. Anyway, Combat Cars, that's a game. Oh, time for a classic. Sega! It's Comic Zone. Rush Rush Rally feels much like this. Yeah, I like Rush Rush Rally a lot more. I think it's got a lot more viewing space for you to react to things in time. But that's a personal preference. I know people have a hard time with Rush Rush Rally racing as well. Right, what the fuck? Swearing. Need to get going, mate. Have fun. Check your notifications. I will. I will. See ya. An idea like this feels right for a redo by an indie studio. Agreed. Agreed. The fact that there aren't more Comic Zone games is still sacrilege. This is a tough old game. I've only ever been able to do it with save states, but it's certainly worth playing through. There's a lot of variety to this game, a lot of cool things it's doing visually, and it's just a great concept for a game that I would love to see explored again. Let's do that. Get the rat. Let's roadkill the rat. Oh, that. There we go. Yeah, .mu would do a good job of this, definitely. I would love to see a new one. I think I'm a little bit sick of people just remaking stuff. I'd like to see an actual Comic Zone 2. I think there's a lot more you can do with this concept. I'd really like to see it expanded and fleshed out. And it would look great with, you know, actual kind of hand-drawn comic art, you know? Like, that would be amazing. I can definitely beat the first 2 stages of this before it gets too difficult for me. But like I say, I went through it with save states, and that was the way to do it. Just save scum my way through it. It was nice to finally see the ending. Into the pit you go. I'm having that thing again where I don't play games with headphones very often, so I always forget that stereo separation is a thing, and I'm hearing it right now and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Right, let's try not fall in the pit. Hey, that's the first stage. Comic Zone's a banger. Highly recommended. Would love to see another one. Right, we're moving on. And I'm also going to quickly check... Oh, Cosmic Spacehead. God. Quickly going to check the old Tiltify page. Just see if there's anybody left to thank. Anybody new? Oh, hello. KC, have a great stream. Thank you very much, buddy. I will thank him personally after the stream, seeing as he's come out of the chat now. Yeah, so Cosmic Spacehead. This is a weird hybrid point-and-click platformer by Codemasters. I've got this on a double cartridge with Fantastic Dizzy, or Fantasy... No, it is Fantastic Dizzy. Yeah, I have barely played this, and as a result, I really don't know what I'm doing. Talk to the coin. I have a birth certificate for some reason. Can I pick up the coin? I can. 1 lino dollar. B. Use teleport. Oh, hang on. Pick it up first. Okay, pick it up. There we go. We've got 2 items now. Teleport machine. So use teleport machine. Use the teleport key with the machine. Okay, how do I... Okay, so I want to use the key in here. You're already in Lino Town. Okay. Let's go in the post office then, I guess. Yeah, this is probably not the most enthralling thing to be playing on stream. Like I say, there is platforming in this as well, but it's a bit of a combination of a platformer with a point and click. I'm sure it's very rewarding to give your time to, but I've never really given it my time ever, so I don't know what I'm doing, and as a result, it's probably not going to be a very interesting thing to watch for right now. So we'll move on. Also, I forgot to tag that one, so apologies. Right, Crackdown is next. Let's remember to bloody tag the games. Right, Crackdown. This is a cool little stealth top-down action game. Oh, whoops! I've used a bomb. Ready, Ben. So yeah, they've got these X's. You got to go down there and put your bombs on them. Defeat enemies, not get shot, and you can sidle up to the walls to avoid enemy fire, which is what you want to be doing, like that. Cool little game. The reason why you've got such a small viewing window on the action is because it's made to be played co-op, which is a good time. If you can find someone with the patience to play a game like this. There we go, and then we can exit. Explode! Cool game, underappreciated. Based on a Sega arcade game. Oh. And there's the next one. Oh. Copped it again. There we go. And I think we're out. Yeah, cool game. Cool little first party Sega game. Well worth playing. Right, next up. Oh god. It's Crew Ball. Enjoy the Mega Drive rendition of Dr. Feelgood, and we'll play some bloody Crew Ball. Right, let's do it. Boom. This is not a very good pinball game, unfortunately. doesn't make great use of the Motley Crue license. This is in an era where sampled audio and like Red Book playback for CDs and things doesn't exist, and as a result the music massively suffers. The Mega Drive's not bad at emulating, you know, like the sound of guitars through the sound chip, but this isn't doing a great job of that. And the table design is poor, not great. It's trying to do that like multi-tiered Devil Crash kind of thing, but there's just not enough to interact with. It's kind of boring. I need my pinball games to do more than this, and this ain't doing a lot, unfortunately. Yeah, a very basic design. It does change as and when you activate different things. Like this section in the middle here turns into like what's it? Drop switches that you can hit. That activates a ramp, if I remember correctly, and then that takes you to somewhere else. So there is some interesting progression to it, but unfortunately it's just not interesting enough to stick around for very long. You'll soon lose interest in this. There are better pinball games on the Mega Drive. So yeah, we will move on. Yeah, there you go, there's those drop switches I was talking about, drop targets. Yeah, so there is a little bit more to the table than what it first looks like, but it's not great. Right, we're moving on. We're moving on. Okay, Cyborg Justice is a game. This is an interesting little thing, this. Right, okay. So, yeah, each robot has interchangeable bodies, legs and hands, okay? So, remember that as we're playing, right? So we've got this cool sort of like segmented design which allows it to do really interesting animations. But basically we want to be hitting other robots and then taking their parts, essentially. And I'm trying to remember how you go about doing that. Ah! So yeah, we can just take bits and pieces from other robots. I think probably what needs to happen is I need to lose a part to be able to take a part. But yeah, it's a cool little game. It reminds me of Heavy Nova, just as the sort of prequel to Black Hole Assault on the Mega CD. It's got some cool ideas. I think this green guy drops a thing that I can use. It is a cool little beat 'em up, like with some interesting ideas. But it's a bit frustrating to play. It's very unresponsive, which is a real shame. I'm trying to remember who recommended me this. I think it might have been Gavi. Yeah, I think I bought it off the back of his recommendation. But yes, I'm sorry I'm not really getting an opportunity to show you the sort of like changing of body parts, because I just can't bloody remember what it is that you need to do to be able to get that. So I've got a block, I've got like a bigger attack here. Oh, hello. Yeah, see, look, it was leaving his legs for me to use there, and I just couldn't quite figure out how to collect them. Ah, this is the bit of the game where I don't think I've ever been able to figure out how to get past it. There's a massive pit here. Oh, we're dead. Never mind, eh? Right, yeah. Massive pit that I just can't jump over, and that's the point of no return whenever I play that game. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but never quite figured it out. Right, it's shmup time again. It's time for Darius 2. Now this is a good game, but I think it's a little bit it's done a disservice by being on the Mega Drive, unfortunately. Because if you know anything about Darius 2, the arcade version, it has a massive widescreen display, which is kind of the big selling feature for that game. You know, you can see the enemies coming from bloody miles off and react to them accordingly. Also, you may notice the sprites are kind of weirdly stripy. I think what the Mega Drive is doing is a sort of dithering on the sprites there to display more sprites, which I don't think I've ever seen any other Mega Drive do. Any other Mega Drive game do. Which is a really weird design choice that just... The Mega Drive shouldn't have a hard time displaying lots of sprites in a shooter. That's kind of its bread and butter. Yeah, a strange one. A strange one. This is by no means a bad shmup, but it's not the best way to play Darius 2, let's put it that way. The port of the first game that came out recently is amazing. It is, which kind of puts this one to shame as well, you know? I'm still very intrigued as to who developed that new port, because if I remember correctly, there was footage of a homebrew version kicking around online a while back. And the version on the Mega Drive Mini looks remarkably like it, and at no point does anybody who developed that homebrew version get credited for it. So yeah, a bit of a strange one. It was apparently still by the homebrew developer. There you go. A bit cheeky that Sega didn't credit them, but then again, you know, it's their console, I guess, but it's not their IP, so it just seems strange that you wouldn't credit the developer. A huge battleship Hyper Sting is approaching. Vast. I do like the Darius series. Gaiden and G Darius in particular are just all-timers. I think they did in the credits. Okay, maybe I missed that. Maybe that was me assuming the wrong thing. Because I was under the impression that they didn't get credited. But maybe I just misheard. Explode. There we go, that's the first stage of Darius 2. Let's move on. Right, okay. Oh god. Davis World Cup. No, Davis Cup World Tour. Right, one of the problems with owning a Mega Drive is that you do just accumulate sports games without your consent. And for some reason I own this. I don't play it. I don't think I've ever played it. I think I may have bought it specifically because it was the cheapest game on Mega Drive I could get with a box, and I wanted to use the box for something else. Double fault. Way.
Block 15.
Oh, there we go. Well, there's a nice line scrolling effect there at least. I like the crowd, that's kind of cool.
Block 40.
Oh my god. Let's at least get a bit of a rally going. No!
Game second player.
Those are some very high quality voice samples, I've got to say. I'm quite impressed with that. Come on.
15.
I have to say, when I think of tennis tournaments to license for my video game, the Davis Cup is not on my list.
30. Block.
At this point in the history of video games, they would license bloody anything.
40. Block.
If they could get an edge on another game just by having a license, they would do it. Yeah, I mean, presentation's pretty solid. But I can't really tell you if it's any good or not because I'm bloody terrible at it.
Game second player.
That's a very high quality voice sample though. I'm into that. Right, we're moving on. Decap attack. No results found for decap attack. Come off it. Strange. Twitch, mate, what's going on? Am I spelling it wrong? What about Magical Hat? Can I do that? Yeah, that's on there. Alright, we'll do it under Magical Hat instead. That's the Japanese version of the game. It's weird. Maybe they have it as a Super Turbo. Yeah, yeah. Well, there we go. Decap attack is fine. Like, I don't mind this game at all. I think it is largely more remembered for its Sonic the Comic adaptation, which is great. Well worth checking out if you like some goofy British humour. But yeah, the game itself is just one of those platformers on the Mega Drive, you know? There's nothing wrong with it. But on a console full of absolute banger platformers, there's not much reason to come to Decap Attack other than, oh, it's the game that comic's based on. If I ever get to do a dream animated adaptation, it'd be Decap Comic. Yeah, that would be amazing. I'd love to see that, man. That's very in your wheelhouse. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, one of the more interesting things about Decap Attack is around the stage are hidden loads of coins, and you can use those in a bonus game at the end, which allows you to get power-ups and things, which is kind of fun. And certain stages do have items that you need to find before you can actually leave the stage, so there is a nice bit of exploration to it, which is kind of unique. There's one of the coins that you can use for the bonus game at the end. I'll show you that in a bit. Oh, I think we have to complete the entire stage while that's thing. But yeah, I've got to say, if you're going to play this, Magical Hat is the way to play it. It is infinitely more colourful and just nicer to look at. It's based on an anime or a manga or something. And instead of throwing a skull at things, you throw what looks like Dizzy, the egg, in Magical Hat, which is always a good time. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, Psycho Fox on the Master System is like the prequel to Magical Hat, based on the same franchise, I think. Magical Hat is harder though, yes. No, that's a fair point. But it's just something about it. Like, you get used to the way this plays. It's worth doing Magical Hat as well, because it's basically more of this, but a little bit tougher. Alright, last stage of Abdomen Land. And yeah, we've got a boss, and then you'll see the bonus stage after that. Boss is fairly easy, and if we can keep the skull to the end as well, that'll make things dramatically easier for us as well. Because that projectile attack with the skull is super powerful, but if you do take a hit, you do lose it. Yeah, you got more health in Decap Attack versus Magical Hat. That's the real difference there. You basically one-hit death unless you've got the projectile, which takes a hit for you. Gotta be careful with opening these tiki heads as well, because they can hide enemies in them. So yeah, well look, we can just get the skull to just stay there and continue to do lots of damage. Oh, there we go, we lost it now. Right, just spam him. Done! Yeah, I suppose the music is better. Yeah. I agree with you on that one. health. Right, there you go. That's the first stage of decap attack. You can't leave this round without finding the most important item. You should search every nook and cranny. So yeah, look, there you go. There's like more to it. Right, sod the bonus stage. We're moving on. You've seen enough of decap attack. Devil Crash! Now we've got a banger. Here's a good pinball game, as opposed to Crew Ball, which is not a good pinball game. Yeah, I got very lucky on eBay back in the day. Got a nice job lot of Japanese games, and this was one of them. It was unboxed, but I do not care. Love this game. Really good pinball game. Again, it's kind of the one you think of when you think of that multi-tier table design, where it's like 3 different playing areas stacked on top of each other. But it's just so metal. Music is awesome. It's doing lots of cool stuff that's like, yeah, you just can't do with anything that isn't virtual pinball, you know, like video pinball should definitely do crazy things because, like, yeah, you know, why lock yourself into realism when you can go absolutely crazy? It's a good time. Some really early 90s weird visual design. Oh, it's just metal album art as far as I'm concerned. The pinball game. Yeah, really good time. Lots of little weird little subtables which you can earn bonuses through. Technically, if you complete all the subtables and, you know, beat them, you basically open one final subtable which is like the boss of the table. So there is like an end goal with Devil's Crash, which is kind of unique among pinball games. You know, you're not just playing for as long as you can to get the best score. Yeah, it's super cool. And you want to be playing the Japanese version because you get the actual pentagrams. In Dragon's Fury, which is the Western version, they change them just out to stars to avoid this satanic theme. Avoid any criticism they may have received. But Japan's like, ah, sod that. Let's go Satan. Let's have all the satanic imagery. But yeah, cool game. I'm not going to play too much of it because... Oh, well, here we go. We've activated a bonus table, so at least you get to see one of them. Oh, and we're out already. That's the problem with them. It's very easy to drain the ball by accident. But yeah, cool game. One of the best pinball games on the Mega Drive. Highly recommended. Right. Double Clutch. Here's a driving game of sorts. Again, this was a... Lewis wants to own as many driving games as possible on the system he loves and has had since his youth. Let's be Lance Quick, I guess.
3, 2, 1, go.
The soundtrack to this game. It's so silly. I don't mind this game. It's fine. It's like a manageable speed. You can react to the track in you know, in time to corner correctly. But yeah, the music is terrible. I've played a fair bit of this back in the day, but yeah. It is certainly fine. A mediocre racing experience on the Mega Drive. But considering some of the terrible ones we've had already, yeah, this is fine, you know. It's just the stupid soundtrack. Will never not amuse me. Ah! That was slick. Anyway, you get the idea. It's this a lot. There isn't a lot of variety to the tracks visually. Plenty of variety to the track designs, but they're all very much, yeah, this sort of look. the tile set doesn't change a lot between races, let's put it that way. I think they might change the colours of the grass to be brown in some of the races. So yeah, you're not missing much if we duck out and move on to another game. So yeah. Right. Yeah, see, look, it's the same look. Anyway, we're moving on. Right, that was double clutch. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. We were talking about Puyo Puyo earlier. Well, here it is. I am terrible at this game. I would love to learn how to do combos well, but that requires a level of patience that I do not have. But yeah, here's where you get your puzzle game fix. Yeah, it was a nice little feature in Mania. It's a bit of a strange thing because I think, if I remember correctly, that is a boss for that stage, and it's an incredibly easy one. Which Mania has some pretty challenging bosses, so it's a bit strange that like they just randomly throw in this weird gimmick boss that's just incredibly easy to defeat. Yeah. But yeah, if you don't know anything about Dr. Martin's Mean Bean Machine, it is the localized version of Puyo Puyo. It is a puzzle game where the idea really is to be setting up combos so that you can send junk Puyo onto the other screen, and yeah, that's the aim of the game basically. Look, that's what he's doing right now. There's junk. So yeah, it is an interesting little game with a lot of depth to it, and you can certainly set some crazy combos if you learn the mechanics and learn how to set up combos well. But I am not one of those guys, unfortunately. I do not have the skills to set up crazy combos and impress you all with my amazing Puyo playing. I'm very much just chucking things at this and hoping it delivers, which at the moment I'm not really getting much of. I'm just kind of hoping for an accidental combo now. You never know, you never know. Here we go. No, that's not one. Never mind. Right, yeah, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. It's a puzzle game. It's a good one. It's certainly what you want to be playing over columns. But sometimes you just want to not have to think about how to play the game that much. Columns is fine as well. Right, Dragon the Bruce Lee story. Here's a game. This has lovely sprites. That's what I remember about this. Here we go. So yeah, it's a fighting game. You can do attacks. The thing you want to be doing in this, which I always remember was the appeal, you can stomp on the chests of enemies when you hit them when they hit the floor. I cannot remember what it is that you need to do to trigger that. But it makes a nice juicy crunchy noise when you stomp on their chests when they hit the floor. And that was the appeal. You know, as a Mortal Kombat fan, I was like, yeah, that's doing it for me. The violence. I just cannot remember what it is that you need to do to trigger it. Could certainly do it as a kid. Ah! Come on. Let's defeat one guy at least. Oh, blimey. It's pretty cool how, like, every enemy in this has, like, his own unique thing going on with a weapon and stuff. All unique animations. But if I remember correctly, I don't think the Versus mode lets you play as the enemies. I think you can only play as Bruce Lee's. And if I remember correctly as well, I think this can be played 3-player with a multi-tap as well. Oh, I'm getting absolutely wasted here. Yep, I think I've been done in. Well, there you go. Not showing my skills too well on Dragon the Bruce Lee story. Used to be able to play it pretty decently. Oh, that's your 3 lives. But yeah, interesting game. You got to put the time though to figure out how it works. Right, Dynamite Duke is next. I think I bought this from Play Expo. So yeah, this is a sort of cool on-rails third-person shooter thing going on. Got a big hole in your chest so you can see enemies through you, which is an interesting way of, you know, dealing with the whole enemy sprite obscuring the action. Yeah, it's a fun little time, this. Very clearly an adaptation of an arcade game. But, you know, I have a good time with Dynamite Duke. It's fairly simplistic. Big, you know, coin muncher of a game, but it's fun. It's fun. Sometimes that's all it ever needs to be. I love how sad the bloke on the cover is. God, I'm taking some damage here. Oh, there's some health. Lovely. Ah, we're indoors now. Ah! Just came right in my face and beat me up. Deary me. Anyway, yeah, cool game. Well worth checking out. I have a lot of time for that. Right, Dynamite Heady. I suppose we better go Japanese, right? Oh, got to set the old country to be Japan then, haven't we? Because if you're going to play Dynamite Heady, I think this is the way you play it. This Japanese copy used to be animated AFs. Sold it to me back in the day. Very appreciated. I've got a PAL copy as well, but yeah, the Japanese one has some interesting tweaks and things that kind of make it feel like the fuller experience. Right, let's try and defeat this guy. You can beat him. You've really got to hammer him quickly though. Come on. There we go. If you asked me what my all-time fave was when I was between 12 and 18, I would have said this. Oh, there you go. I mean, it's a treasure game, right? Like, there's a developer that made this console sing, right? I've never legit beat it, only with level select. I have never beaten it. Did try and take a decent stab at it on the Mega Drive Mini with save scumming my way through it, but it's so long. It's a very big game, and again, no password system, no way to save progress. It really needs it, especially this late in the Mega Drive's life. Yeah, so for whatever reason, the Western version, the cat is brown and has an angry face. Not too sure why. There's just some weird localization choices. Like I say, just kind of makes this one feel like the more complete experience. I'm trying to think of more differences off the top of my head, but I can't right now. Right. I'm going to go a little bit longer. I know I had penciled in 2 hours worth of game. I'm not going to get through everything, obviously. But yeah, we'll go a little bit longer. Just because, you know, I'm enjoying myself. I'd like to deliver as much as I can in this time frame. But yeah, obviously this is in aid of special effect as part of Game Blast 23. Please donate if you can. Link on the screen if you can donate. Please donate, but please don't feel obliged to donate, especially during a cost of living crisis. And yeah, it would be very appreciated if you could. I'm just going to quickly check and see if we've had any more donations, just so I can say thank you on stream. No, at the moment we're still Casey and Ian donating, so thank you very much, guys. Very appreciated. But yeah, we're going to carry on. We'll play a couple more games and we'll see how we go. Because I do have to be up for work in the morning, so I don't want to particularly go too crazy. Right, okay, Earthworm Jim is next up. Oh, I've got to go back to the right region. You may have donated via the main team link, which is also appreciated, buddy. I do have a personal donation page that will feed into the team page. But thank you so much for donating, buddy. I just, yeah. The ones I'm looking at are the ones on my personal thing at the moment. But yeah, still hugely appreciated. So thank you very much, Animator, for... Oh, and same to you, Gothblin, as well. Thank you very much for donating. It is hugely appreciated. That is a huge kindness, and obviously it'll all go to special effect and really benefit people with disabilities who just want to play games the same way we do. Come on in. Get down there. There we go. Right, so this is one of my all-time favourite games ever. I cannot, unfortunately, recommend you play it via a new means, because... So what I'm trying to say is, the character designer for this is a guy called Doug Tenaple, who's a horrible, horrible man, and a homophobe, and just... yeah. Can't really say anything good about him, unfortunately. So if you're going to play Earthworm Jim, pirate it, is what I'm saying. Because it is a good time. It's a really well designed platformer. But we shouldn't be putting money in Doug Tenaple's pockets. Because he's a piece of shit. But yeah, a really cool game. Developed with the same sort of cell animation technique they used for Aladdin. So it's like proper cartoonists drawing the animation frames one by one and then being digitized. You won't get any money from second-hand Mega Drive copies, at least. That's a fair point, absolutely. So yeah, basically find a way to not give Doug Tenaple money if you want to play Earthworm Jim. Because for a while it was in heavy circulation. There was like a new version that Gameloft created for DS and PS3 and that. And as a result, you know, I'm sure Doug Tenaple was given residuals. But yeah, I'd rather you didn't support those versions. Don't think they're on sale anymore. But yeah, find a way to play it that does not give him money. Because I think it's worth playing. I think it's a really, really good game. I regularly give it a replay as a comfort game quite a lot. It's just a really creative, fun, visually interesting game. One of the Mega Drive's best as far as I'm concerned. There is a really good special edition version on Mega CD as well, which adds extra stages. But they do feel like offcuts. They're not essential. You're not missing much by not only playing base Earthworm Jim. But yeah, a really, really good game that I cannot recommend enough. But like I say, try not to give homophobes money if you're going to play Earthworm Jim. I wonder what was going on with the cartoon that was announced, apparently with the creator nowhere near it. I did not know that that was a thing that was happening. I know that Earthworm Jim 4 has been cancelled because, well, everything to do with the Amico has been cancelled, right? But yeah, I didn't realise there was a another cartoon happening. As a buy guy, I also appreciate you calling that homophobia and, you know, not spending money on games where bad people make money. Apparently still a difficult model quandary for some. Yeah, we've been certainly experiencing that recently, haven't we? But yeah. Yeah, Earthworm Jim. We should also jump over to Earthworm Jim 2, right? Just realised I forgot to tag Earthworm Jim. But we'll definitely do it for Earthworm Jim 2. And now, I like this game, but I don't think it's as good as his first. It gets a bit mini-gamey, this one. It's not so heavily into just being a run and gun, you know, with platforming and stuff. There is plenty of that in here. But, yeah, the stages are very diverse. They do a lot of interesting, weird stuff. Princess, what's her name, right, man? Are we having a moment here? are we professing our love for cartoon characters? Because I'm down with you, man. I feel it. There we go. Yeah, there's just something about this one, unfortunately. I feel like it was very much a case of, well, now we have to make a sequel because we've made an incredibly successful first game. But I don't know if they really had a good idea for a sequel, so they basically just went to everybody and went, okay, what should we do? And put everything in. And that certainly makes for variety, but I don't think it makes a cohesive experience, is what I would say. Oh, how do you change weapon again? Come on, I've got a 6-button pad. Why is it not doing it? There we go. Ah, never mind. I'm not going to try and do that. Yeah. Yeah. This is certainly a game. I think it is a good game, but at the same time, I don't think it's as good as the first. And as a result, yeah, I don't think it's worth exploring as much as the first, which I think is an absolute all-timer. This one just feels like, right, I guess we've just got to try everything. Something might stick. It really, like, doubles down on the randomness. And there is a lot of variety to it, let's put it that way. Stages do go to some interesting and strange places. Which one had the goo bungee thing? That was a terrible level. That was the first one. And yeah, while I agree, it's not the sort of thing you want to be playing in a run and gun or a platformer. But this one has things like, there's a isometric stage where you've got to push a bomb to the end. It's very frustrating to play. There's the weird blind cave salamander stage where you have to fly around and it's very slow and cumbersome. There's a stage... Well, the next stage is one where you have to drill through dirt to make progress. It's got a lot of cool ideas, but I don't know whether they all work, unfortunately. It's just a real mess. Peter transforming levels in the first one as well. Yeah, that's the first one as well. Right, there you go, that's the end of the first stage. Here's Bob the Goldfish, and the way we defeat Bob is, of course, to eat him. I do love these little sequences. They're kind of random each time. Sometimes the weight will just hit him on the head again. Well done. Yeah, Earthworm Jim 2. Not as good as 1, but I do like it. It's got its moments. Right, one more game, and then I think we're going to call the stream for tonight. It's another Sega classic. One I'm not too sure I enjoy. I've definitely given it a fair shake in the past. It's Echo the Dolphin. A game dripping with atmosphere, really unique, just something super different. It deserves to be recognised as one of the Mega Drive's standout titles, just because of how different it is. But yes, like you say, a beautiful game, but not a fun one. Yeah, it's one of those things where, despite the small sprite, it still doesn't feel like you have enough viewing room to be able to navigate and know where you're going. It needs a mini-map, probably. Something like a remaster could really sort out. Yeah, a tough time. So you communicate with things using your sonar. But yeah, the way through each stage is generally you want to find these crystals which act like keys. Once you've found them, you can then progress. You do have to worry about your air because you are a mammal. It will run down. You can defeat enemies by doing this sort of dash into them. And you can get health back by eating smaller fish, which again you do by dashing into them. Yeah, it's a strange, very interesting and unique game, but one that I feel like... There we go. So now I can activate the crystal that's blocking the path at the end of the stage, now that I've found that guy. It's very explorative, but I think, again, it's the limitations of the system it's on, you know? Let's get some air back. There we go. Come on, down you go. Yeah, a very odd game. A very odd game. It was a super unique one, but just a tough time. Like I say, I've given it my fair shake. I have made a fair bit of progress. I've never seen, you know, the later Alien levels where it gets really out there, which is a shame. I got sort of like an ice area when I played it the longest. I played it the longest on the Mega CD of all ports. There we go. We can knock that out of the way and move on. But yeah, and you do at least have passwords, so you can take your time with it and progress, and you know, come back to it, which is a good little time. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it there for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thanks to everybody that donated. Thank you so much. You've made a huge difference to someone else's life. It's all going to go special effect. Huge thanks to the Radio Sega team for having me on board. And yeah, I hope you had a nice chill evening. I hope you continue to have a nice chill evening. And yeah, I wish you all the very best. Take care. Don't give money to homophobes or transphobes. But yeah, have a good evening. Take care, guys. Have a good evening. Take care.